In California, we're joined by Amir Avadallah, who is the founder and CEO of Vantara Inc. That's a generative AI company. And in Beijing, Zeng Yi, professor from Chinese Academy of Sciences, who has been doing research for years on artificial intelligence. Gentlemen, welcome to the program. The biggest news of the day, of course, is the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken visiting China, had talks with the Chinese leaders and top diplomats. So tell us more about, to you, what do you see could be the most important messages that both sides can put out regarding cooperation, at least not rivalry, in artificial intelligence? Amir?
Well, I'm hoping that they will reach a way to make it easier for both countries to collaborate when it comes to AI. Specifically, as you know, some of the recent curbs the US, for example, has been putting, preventing NVIDIA, which is one of the top AI companies here, from selling certain types of hardware to China. So I'm hoping that they will resolve that and they will get back to that being okay. That's one of the things I'm hoping to, looking forward to see come out of this discussion that they're having right now.
Professor Zeng, your thoughts?
Years ago, when I think the world has been very familiar with the technology created in more advanced countries like the United States, and will be, heavy users on that. And you see the world moving very fast from the application point of view. But when the technology itself has been restricted, and it push, other countries that have to deal with it in a way that they have to create the technology themselves. Well, in that case, I would say it will be very hard to win the customer back for these American companies if they follow this kind of trying, because simply as a user myself, I cannot trust when they're going to stop again, and I cannot rely on that.
In the discussion between the Chinese foreign minister and also the U.S. Secretary of State, the Chinese side mentioned the negative factor in the bilateral relations have been rising. Now, that certainly is a warning. It also applies to global governance issues such as artificial intelligence. So, Mr. Zeng, your thoughts from your perspective, how much cooperation is there between you and your American colleagues, counterparts, on governance discussion? How much do you see both sides understand the top priorities in the AI issue from one another?
I think now it's been very clear that for both sides that we have regulation systems, and now I think both sides need to talk to each other to find in which way we can interoperate with each other, so that you don't unify everything, because the regulation system is somewhat different. But you need to find the interoperabilities so that you can talk to each other and understand from a solution side that you don't agree with specific principles and values, but you can actually to find a solution that is common by using different regulation system. And that's already been very good.
Yeah, I mean, like I'll tell you, the thing that scares me the most about AI. I love AI. First, I mean, you talked to me before. I'm a big fan of AI. I think we should leverage AI in many things around our lives. It will help us be much better and live much happier lives. But the thing that makes me scared is the applications of AI in military systems, like leveraging AI for autonomous armies of soldiers or tanks or planes or bad weapons. And if the AI is in charge of these systems and it can make the decision, then that can be very dangerous. That can be very damaging to all of us. And that's what concerns me the most. And that's what I would like to see our countries collaborate in, to have treaties similar to nuclear treaties that limits how bad that can go, how bad that can be.
There is dialogue being created regarding discussions about artificial intelligence between China and the United States. How far do you see these conversations have gone?
I think for both sides, we should support a more inclusive platform to have a discussion on this related topic related to military AI. And I think by 2026, there will be concrete solutions, first solutions coming out from the UN on related topics. There should be some hard bindings within these 2 years. I'm very hopeful that we should use this kind of UN platform to not only to have a bilateral consensus, but really to taking care of more countries to be involved for the important discussion, like lethal autonomous weapons, whether it should be done or whether it should be used. Very different ideas now, but I think we must have a solution within these 2 years.
Amir, while we are talking about cooperation, we do see a lot of competitions, and some even suggest the rivalries in the field of artificial intelligence between China and the United States. How do you understand the current mixture of different elements in this AI discussion?
So I think competition is a normal thing, and it's welcome, and it's to compete with somebody else, and it pushes us forward, and vice versa. I think competition is very healthy, and it's very expected. Whenever you have a technology that has the potential to change the world in such significant ways, for example, if you look at the mobile revolution before then, of course we want to compete and create the best devices and the best solutions and the best technologies to extract value back for ourselves and our countries based on that. But if you do it in a way where we isolate each other, like Mr. Zhang was cautioning us earlier, then that's going to harm us in the long term. Like Apple is such a big, important company because China buys phones from Apple. If China stops buying phones from Apple, Apple would not be the Apple that we have today, and vice versa. There's many companies in China that are doing great because we are buying things from them over here. So that's my view on this. Is competition is healthy, as long as we don't take competition to the point where we say, let's stop working with each other. If we get to the point, stop working with each other, then now competition becomes bad because we're isolating each other from the technology.
Right. Now, this year we see many things going on. For example, the presidential election in the United States. We also see an increasing fragmentation regarding some of the current ongoing crises in the world. We also see geopolitics, of course, that has been there for years. So how to prevent artificial intelligence and the application of that will be misused to further divide our opinions, fragment our world, including creating more perception problems between China and the US. Amir.
Yeah, so that's a very hard problem, and that's not a problem of AI. Like, I'm not going to blame AI for that one. I think we humans are the ones to blame for that one. We are the ones that come up with different stories and different propagandas to try and affect each other in different ways. AI is simply a tool that allows us to do it at a much bigger scale. But we still, at the end of the day, the abuse is not from the AI, the abuse is from us. Now, how do we counter that? We counter that by making sure that we have checks and balances that can catch it when it's taking place. So, for example, a number of the social media networks here in the US are adding controls around validating the factualness and the correct nature of information or news being shared on the platforms, so that if people try to reshare them or redistribute them, it will block them and say, this is not true, this is fake information, you should not depend on this. Another example, LinkedIn is a very popular website here in the US. I'm not sure how big LinkedIn is in China. LinkedIn is a social media network for professionals. And yeah, many people were posting fake profiles and fake images and fake personas on LinkedIn. And LinkedIn a few months ago added now a fake checker, a fake profile checker that detects these profiles and blocks them completely. So I think we need a combination of three things. Number one, we need to have checks that are checking these sources continuously. Number two, we need to educate the public so they are more cognizant that this can happen to them, and they could be looking at a fake avatar right now or a fake story right now, to make them more sensitive to detecting that. In the same way that we teach the public to be careful with phishing attacks for their password, right? That's something that we teach the public on. That's number two that we need to have in place. And number three, we need as much as we can to have governance and regulations between each other, that we're not going to do these bad things to each other. So that's the solution, but it's easier said than done.
because China sees a number of issues close to her heart. For example, the issue of Taiwan, the issue of South China Sea, all of these regarding sovereignty, territorial integrity. But there was, according to China, misinformation and misperceptions, to say the least, about these issues that are flowing around actively on social media and beyond. So once again, how will we try so that wrong perceptions and fake news, disinformation will not further spread and AI become a victim of that?
The way that the Chinese government is doing for disinformation and fake information now is that they regulate, they release the generative AI regulation, saying that if some of the contents are generated by AI, you have to make it clear, and you have to, and also by using some technologies like watermarking, so that people can identify this is AI generated. Well, so you cannot use AI to create disinformation, and you don't say that this is not real. Well, on the other side, of course, the challenge is there, I think, globally, like what Amma said. So what I wanted to happen globally is that maybe we can, as the two most advanced countries, at least from our understanding, it would be great for US and China to collaborate on creating a global fact checker or something like that, so that everyone from the technology cooperation point of view, you can compete actually to identify disinformation and misinformation. But basically, everyone will get benefit because all the disinformation on the web can be found by a competition. So I think that would be more healthy to for both sides, so that you don't misunderstand the U.S. from our side, and also they don't misunderstand our side by using this technology.
Well, I heard a lot of great ideas coming from both of you gentlemen. What a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.